UFC fighters should not just be getting a present, but also shouldn't be getting a bonus from Dana White in any sort during the Christmas period. Honestly, some of these fighters are iffy if they should be sticking around the sport anymore, but we'll start straight away with Anthony Smith. Anthony Smith starts the year off strong in quotation marks by beating Vito Petrino. We get it, he's a scrub. But then after he beats him, Anthony Smith outwardly says, well, Vito Petrino hasn't been that good anyway. Of course I'm going to beat him. I'm Anthony Smith. I'm really good at fighting. No, you're not, Anthony Smith. You are a coward weasel. And the reason I say this is because let me get to it, right? He beats Vito Petrino, doesn't give him any credit, shits on his name, and then moves on. I did it to the guy that I was supposed to do it to. I can't do it to anyone else that's in the top 10, but I do it to other guys. Shut your face, Anthony Smith. And then he fights Roman Dolidze. Roman Dolidze is a middleweight. I know it's on short notice, but Roman Dolidze took the fight on short notice as well. Roman Dolidze, a fringe top 10 middleweight, barely a middleweight, top 10 contender, in all honesty, fights Anthony Smith and dances on him. And Anthony Smith, the absolute coward worm weasel, also so I'm going to call him because I hate the guy, cowers up, gets in a fetal position on the against the cage, sorry for swearing, and gets beaten up for a while, is holding on to one arm, is trying to get up. He's just trying to survive. And this is a theme with Anthony Smith, as I'll keep continuing on with what I'm saying right now. After losing to Roman Dolidze on this double threat guy, he's really tough to beat, like this guy that can, take you down but also punch you in the face. That weird thing that these rare hybrids can do. Literally most of the top 10 of any division can do that, Anthony Smith. That's what being a well-rounded fighter is all about. But obviously Anthony Smith doesn't have that great of takedowns or good striking. He just has some jiu-jitsu where the other guy slips on a banana peel and he just slashes up their neck. That's what Anthony Smith is good at, nowadays at least. Maybe he was better in his prime. I've seen him in his prime. He wasn't that much better. He was just beating up old, washed-up dinosaurs, in all honesty, like fossils, really. He was just beating the shit out of. And then after losing Roman Dolidze, no real credit outside this guy was a double threat. Like, come on, dude. Like, it's Roman Dolidze. And then before fighting Dominic Reyes, he's like, oh, well, I did what I was supposed to do to Vito Petrino. Well, you didn't exactly do what you were supposed to do to Roman Dolidze, now did you? And then he's saying, oh, yeah, but Dominic Reyes is someone I'll tell my kids about. And then Dominic Reyes fights in the second round. Let me just say this. In the first round, he basically quits on the feet. Does a Michael Chandler. Just drops his hands. He knows he's going to lose anyways. Like, screw it. I'll just make it look like this was my emotional state. Ooh, I was sad. I was on antidepressants. My name's Anthony Smith. Is basically what he tried to pull. In the second round, got beaten up. Didn't even get dropped. Honestly, he held onto a leg. Got punched in the face a few times. Fell over and stayed there for the round. Kept taking punches, but kept holding onto the arm of Dominic Reyes. And this is where the worst part happens. He got stopped by Dominic Reyes. And then afterwards says, Dominic Reyes isn't that good. What are you on about? He literally beat the piss out of you. You were peeing in the corner of the cage. While thousands of people, to hundreds of thousands of people watched you. As you are whimpering, shivering, pissing yourself in the cage against Dominic Reyes. You absolute pussy. That was Anthony Smith. In 2024, that was his year, his illustrious year, where no one's good enough, but somehow everyone stops him. That kind of year that Anthony Smith had. And then Dominic Reyes isn't good enough. Apparently, Anthony Smith beat himself. I think it's something along the lines of what he said. Overall, doesn't make the nice list. You can't be an absolute CUNT to every fighter you fight that beats you, and then apparently they're not good enough. Like, who is good enough? You beat someone, they're not good enough. Someone beats you, they're not good enough. Jon Jones, arguably the greatest, the greatest light heavyweight of all time. Unquestioned, you can't deny it unless you count steroids. Not good enough. Beat the shit out of you, not good enough. Everyone that beats you up, Glover, Yuri after their fight, neither of them, if they fought me like that, they'd lose. You know why? Because they're not good enough. Shut up, Anthony Smith. You're not good enough. And I'm saying you, not only should you not get a present, you probably shouldn't be getting a contract renewal. Like, your contract just should be used as toilet paper in all honesty at this stage, because you're done, mate. No one cares. I mean, I kind of care. I kind of want to see him get beat up a little bit more. But other than me, no one really cares. Move on and F off. Next up, Jon Jones. Speaking of effing off, Jon Jones, just go away from the heavyweight division, my guy. Like, you came to the heavyweight division, honestly, took the belt, all fairness to you, did destroy Cyril Gane, and then just sat there for a year and a half. I know you got injured, but why was the person who were waiting for you to come back to Stipe Miocic? Why did Dana White, this isn't completely, I wish I could throw Dana White on here, but he's not a fighter. Dana White made you specifically fight Stipe when Tom Aspinall could have murdered that old man first. And then you would have had to fight him. But instead, you got a freebie in Stipe Miocic, and now you've been holding up the division. Your fat belly, honestly, your fat belly. You were saying you were saying you were 239, 240 pounds? How? You're just fat, in all honesty. Like, there's no muscle there. Your legs still look as cowardly as always. And I say this, you guys, come on. Like, there's some muscle there. There's definitely some muscle there. You can't really see it in this video. It's definitely the lighting. More excuses for me. But anyway, I'm Anthony Smith. Anyway, Jon Jones. Also refusing to fight Tom Aspinall, being an absolute coward in this year so far, basically being very sassy with the way he denies Tom Aspinall as well. Oh, I think just a bit of an asshole is basically what he's been saying recently. Tom Aspinall would kick your ass and you are denying him a chance to fight. Instead, you're calling out Derek Lewis and Jamal Hill. You're ruining the mental state of the UFC fan. They're just thinking, what? There's no way we're watching Derek Lewis versus Jon Jones. That's just no way. No way we're gonna pay for that. And Jon Jones is just calling for that fight over and over again. He is cowardly. He is holding up the division. The division is kind of dying low-key. Slowly but surely is dying little by little. I mean, it helps that there's no one good, but Aspinall's the one that's been keeping everyone busy, if we think about it, right? Pavlovich, Curtis Blades, all those guys have been kept busy because of Aspinall. That's the only reason it doesn't feel like there's a massive logjam in the division. It's because Aspinall's defending his title. Weirdness. Ruining a division, well, not ruining, being a sassy bitch, and avoiding a fight with the next #1 guy, trying to ruin the continuity of the UFC. You have made the naughty list. You are not getting a present, but you are getting Tom Aspinall 225. Next up, we have Matteo Bautista. I messed that up. I'm not going to fix it. Screw that. He doesn't deserve his name to be correctly spelled anyway. Freaking Mario Bautista. Fucking Luigi. Anyway, Luigi, in all honesty, over here. That's right. He's Luigi now. Luigi Bautista over here. Hugged onto Jose Aldo and robbed him of a win. And I say robbed because it was a robbery despite the hug fest, crotch fest grind that he had in that fight. Jose Aldo definitely beat him, kicked his ass, did more damage. Mario Bautista, despite being the younger guy, couldn't really get anything off except for just holding him against the cage. The ref didn't break it up as much as he should have, or at all, in all honesty. Don't know why they did that. They just rigged it for the younger guy. They want him. I doubt the UFC want to push Luigi Bautista over here. But Luigi over here gets the win. He gets to continue his career while Jose Aldo arguably should for permanently now retire. Because honestly, he came back from retirement, wanted a title shot. They made him fight some absolute, like, all due respect to these fighters, absolute nobodies. Which is what Luigi and Jonathan Martinez are. He beats both of them, gets robbed of one of them, and now it's like, what's next for Jose Aldo? Completely garbage. Luigi over here robs one of the legends of the sport, makes a boring fight out of it, and actually does lose that fight. Again, it's not his fault, but he shall still face my wrath. And I saw it on the internet, everyone hates him, so you know what. And it's one more thing, you're just being hateable through your actions as opposed to your words is worse in my opinion, because listen, Jamal Hill at the end of the day, he didn't make the list because he's adding intrigue to the fight, he's giving the fans something. Luigi over here has given the fans nothing, we all just want to see him lose, so I guess we do want to see him in some capacity, but we want to see him get absolutely murked by somebody, like a brutal KO, a decision won't do anymore, we need his head on a platter, served with some fucking mushrooms for Luigi over here. Luigi doesn't deserve to have his name recognized until he beats someone higher ranked than him. Luigi is a bitch, doesn't deserve the name Mario even. Mario's too alpha. Luigi over here will never get Princess Peach. He's never going to move up in that department. Hopefully Browser, whoever plays the role of Browser in this scenario, I wouldn't mind if it's Tom Aspinall. We should squash him. And this is honestly one of those performances where you can argue, just cut him anyway. Like Mukayev, let's just cut him anyway. Just robbed the guy, it was a boring fight. Got his ass beat, so it wasn't like he looked good in any way. It wasn't like it was a boring fight, but yeah, you know what, he won. Looked boring, looked shit, lost, and ruined one of the legends of the sport, one of the greatest fighters ever. One of my favorite fighters of all times, careers. So, F Luigi. We're moving on from Luigi now to the Tafa Bros. Now, the naughty list for this year is not just based on what the fighters done to the fans and their mental state and like how much they've displeased us. These two absolute fat ogres, buffoons, have ruined the integrity of mixed martial arts. I cannot show someone a fight in mixed martial arts anymore without embarrassing myself if either of these two buffoons are on the fucking cage. Right? Buffoon A and Buffoon B over here are absolutely terrible at fighting. They lose to anyone that isn't literally just out of the regional scene and overweight, out of their mind, like literally on a bender of like 2-week bender of just pizza and burgers and fucking pasta, you know? I'm gonna stop swearing a little bit now, but I'm actually not. These two guys are very unskilled, really, really obese as well. Like, they're very out of shape. They gas after the first round. They're panting for their lives. Like, I can't show my dad a fight between the heavyweight division because it's going to be twiddled, Dumb and Dumber over here. Dumb 1, Dumb 2, Banana A, Banana B. Just stinking it up after the first round. They get gassed out. They look unathletic. They look like two plumbers that did, honestly, two plumbers that were too stupid to go to college or graduate from high school, even if I'm being honest with you. Ended up going to mixed martial arts, said, this is something to do. Got into the sport, can only beat the absolute plumbers of the division, like the absolute fighters that wouldn't even make it in the 1990s when the first sport first started. The type of fighters that would get actually tapped out by Royce Gracie, despite the weight advantage and the fact they're way bigger and actually have the benefit of evolution. Despite all of that, they would still lose to Royce Gracie. They're terrible for the sport. They fight terribly. Honestly, the actual skill level is just so incredibly abysmal that I feel like I could probably out-cardio them. I understand fight cardio is different, but I doubt either of them could outrun me on a treadmill or on the streets. If we're being completely honest, neither of them look like they have that good of a shape. They take fights on short notice. They interchange between each other. You can't tell the difference between these two. They're both terrible. They both ruin the sport, and actually bitches in real life, if I'm being honest with you, because the D head, the penis head on the right over here, that's the new word, penis head on the right over here, fought, what's his name, Walter or whatever. I was there in the crowd. He screamed like a B word, B-I-T-C-H, a little girl, and the ref called the fight off because he verbally tapped out, and then afterwards he slapped him to act tough in front of the home crowd, when in reality we all saw him for a little coward that he was. A little sissy. I'm gonna get a lot of hate in the comment section for this video. I can understand that. I'm a nobody that has no actual ability to beat up any of these UFC fighters. I wouldn't last 10 seconds. The Tafa Bros individually would knock my head off, kill me in all honesty. Within 10 seconds, my heart would stop pumping blood in my body. But I don't care. In the context of actual professional fighters that get paid to fight, these are the two of the worst the world has to offer. You know what I mean? The world. And then finally, we have the women's division in 2024. Now, this feels a little bit harsh, but hear me out. Rose Namajunas has been stinking it up the entire year on Fight Night main events. Like, why is she getting crowded Fight Night main events? Makes no sense in nothing fights as well. Like, we know she lost to Manon Fiorot. Why is this the main event? Like, we no more run to the title. None of that shit. We know it's over. Thank God Erin Blanchfield beat her. Hopefully that stuff stops. But knowing the UFC, a Fight Night main event coming near you in early next year, Rose Namajunas is headlining. Other than that, we have another, you know, Weili Zhang makes the list even despite being a fun fighter, but she's defending a title once a year now. What's happening? Once a year? At least twice, Weili. Like, you're actually one of the fun ones. I wouldn't mind seeing you fight, but what's happening now? Too much money now? Or you too? I mean, I'm looking at you and you look older after each fight because of such a huge amount of time. It's not like, oh, well, you can't really tell that she's aged a bit because you see her all the time. No, we see her so infrequently that you can clearly see the wrinkles on her forehead nowadays. Well, Valentina is back on top and I can't stand it. Like, if you are a Valentina Shevchenko fan, first of all, which part of the world do you live in? Second of all, are you still living with your parents? I don't know why I said that. I live with my parents and I'm proud of it. No, I'm not. Alexa Grasso was the queen. She was my queen. She was everyone's queen, right? We all saw the pictures. We all saw the feet pictures. And that was what we thought was going to be the future. Alexa Grasso moving on in the division, getting her own legacy, making her, having some fun fights. Maybe a Weili versus Alexa Grasso fight down the line. Ooh, that's like a super fight. Maybe she can move up and fight Joanna Pena or something like that. That'd be fun. But no, Valentina's back on top. She's just going to kill the division. Marin Fiorot, pummel her to the ground, destroy her, bomba clot her face in. Joanna Pena, back to being not as bad as the Tafa Bros, but also very unskilled. The fact that she's champion, it's terrible. And other than that, none of the other women's in the division have really made a name for themselves. Like, they're just kind of existing, and it's just like, free checks were just given out. I say I have no stake in the UFC, or do I? I don't know. Maybe I'm just a hitman hired by Dana White to make these kind of videos, to put pressure on Jon Jones to sign that contract. No, I'm just kidding. But get Anthony Smith out of the UFC. Anyway, the women, not really giving us too much, other than shitty main events, in all honesty. And the title fights this year, there haven't been that many, but they've been kind of, Raquel Pennington and Mayra Bueno stunk it up, and then obviously, the fact that Juliana Pena is champion again, stinking it up. That's the whole video. These are the fighters that should be on the naughty list. Shouldn't be getting a present or maybe even a UFC contract heading forward. I wouldn't mind Jon Jones. But he's got too much money, doesn't he? Get him knocked out and then we can kick him out of the UFC. Anyway, that was the whole video. Like and subscribe. This was a fun video to make. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. 175 subscribers. Give it to 200, guys. Hit that subscribe. Like the video. I'll see you next time. Luigi should get a wedgie. Bye.